A silent war is happening inside every human mind. Not on a battlefield, not between armies, but between two invisible forces living within us. One voice says, take action. Another voice says, stay safe. One voice says, speak the truth. Another voice says, protect your ego. One part of us wants peace, but another part keeps returning to fear, anger, comparison, guilt, and overthinking. This inner war is the reason many people feel tired even when nothing major is happening outside. The conflict is not always in life, sometimes the conflict is in perception. So the question is not only, how do I solve my problems? The deeper question is, how do I see clearly? And this is where the ancient symbol of the Sudarshana Chakra becomes powerful, not only as a divine weapon, but as a map of the mind. The Sudarshana Chakra is known as the divine spinning discus of Lord Vishnu. In traditional imagination, it is not an ordinary weapon. It is radiant, circular, sharp, fast, and precise. It moves with perfect timing. It destroys disorder. It protects dharma. It does not attack blindly. It acts with divine intelligence. That is why the Sudarshana Chakra becomes more than a symbol of power. It becomes a symbol of perfect clarity in motion. Think about the mind. A confused mind also rotates, but without direction. Thoughts move in circles. Emotions repeat. Memories keep returning. Fear keeps spinning. But the Sudarshana Chakra represents a different kind of rotation. Controlled, centered, purposeful rotation. It teaches us that real power is not aggression. Real power is clarity, timing, and alignment with truth. Now, let us look at the Sudarshana Chakra in a different way, as a symbolic map of the human psyche. A mythic weapon can also be understood as a psychological symbol. Ancient traditions often use powerful images to explain inner states that ordinary language cannot fully describe. The chakra is circular, but it has a center. It moves, but it remains balanced. It has edges, but it is guided by intelligence. It destroys, but only to restore order. This is exactly what a mature mind must do. A healthy mind should not suppress emotions. It should organize them. It should not deny conflict. It should understand it. It should not run away from truth. It should learn to face it. So, the Sudarshana Chakra becomes a blueprint of the integrated self, a mind where chaos is transformed into clarity. The word Sudarshana can be understood as right vision, auspicious vision, or clear seeing. This is very important because most human suffering does not begin with the event itself. It begins with the way we interpret the event. Two people can face the same situation. One sees insult, another sees feedback. One sees failure, another sees training. One sees rejection, another sees redirection. The outer event may be similar, but the inner vision changes the entire experience. That is the psychology of darshana, the way we see. When vision is polluted by ego, we distort truth. When vision is controlled by fear, we imagine danger everywhere. When vision is driven by desire, we justify wrong choices. Sudarshana means the courage to see reality as it is, not as the ego wants it to be. Lord Vishnu represents preservation, balance, and cosmic order. In symbolic terms, Vishnu is the force that prevents life from falling into total chaos. Creation alone is not enough. Destruction alone is not enough. Life needs maintenance. Life needs rhythm. Life needs balance. The same principle applies to the human mind. Inside us, thoughts are constantly created. Old identities are constantly destroyed. New desires arise. Old fears return. Memories, ambitions, guilt, and hope all move together. If there is no preserving principle inside the mind, everything becomes unstable. The Vishnu principle within us is the capacity to remain centered during change. It is the intelligence that says, do not react blindly. Preserve your inner order. And the Sudarshana Chakra becomes the instrument of that order, cutting what is false and protecting what is true. Sacred geometry is not only about shapes, it is about meaning hidden inside form. The Sudarshana Yantra, with its circles, triangles, lines, and layers, can be viewed as a symbolic diagram of consciousness. Every line has a function. Every circle suggests a boundary. Every triangle creates direction. Every pattern points toward inner organization. The human mind also has geometry. There is a center, the silent witness. There are outer layers, thoughts, emotions, desires, and memories. There are intersections where belief meets action. There are sharp points where truth cuts illusion. When the geometry of the mind is disturbed, we feel confusion. When the geometry becomes aligned, we feel clarity. So the chakra is not only outside, the chakra is also inside, as the architecture of consciousness. Every chakra begins with a center. Without a center, rotation becomes chaos. Without a center, speed becomes destruction. Without a center, energy loses direction. In the human mind, the center point represents the observing self, the part of you that can watch your thoughts without becoming trapped inside them. You are angry, but you can observe the anger. You are afraid, but you can observe the fear. You are confused, but you can observe the confusion. That observer is the center. Most people suffer because they identify with every passing thought. If fear appears, they say, I am fear. If anger appears, they say, I am anger. But the center teaches something deeper. I am the one who sees the storm. I am not the storm itself. The outer circle represents the field of human experience. This is where life happens. Time, pressure, relationships, work, ambition, loss, comparison, success, and failure. In the visual language of the chakra, the outer circle can also be connected to Kala chakra, the wheel of time. Everything in life moves through time. Emotions rise and fall, problems appear and disappear, identities change, relationships transform. Even pain does not remain in the same form forever. But when we forget the center, we get trapped on the outer circle. We become controlled by deadlines, opinions, social pressure, and emotional reactions. The lesson is simple. Live in the world, but do not lose your center inside the world. Emotional regulation begins when the outer circle moves, but the inner center remains steady.
The spokes of the chakra represents alignment. A wheel cannot function if its spokes are broken or uneven. In the same way, the human mind cannot remain stable if its inner elements are scattered. Our thoughts may say one thing, our emotions may say another. Our body may want comfort, our conscience may demand discipline, our ego may want praise, our intellect may know the truth. This creates cognitive overload. The spokes symbolize the forces that connect the outer life to the inner center. Values, discipline, attention, truth, patience, and self-awareness act like spokes. When these inner spokes are strong, pressure does not break us easily. This is why alignment is more powerful than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Alignment holds the structure together. The Sudarshana Chakra teaches that clarity is not random. Clarity is designed. The Sudarshana Chakra is never imagined as a dead object. It is alive with motion. It spins. This spinning motion is important because the mind also processes reality dynamically. Every moment, the mind is interpreting information. What happened? What does it mean? Is it safe? Is it dangerous? Should I respond? Should I wait? A still mind does not mean a lifeless mind. A still mind means a balanced mind in motion. This is a powerful paradox. Balance does not mean nothing is moving. Balance means movement is organized. Think of a spinning wheel. If the center is steady, the wheel moves smoothly. If the center is unstable, the whole wheel shakes. Similarly, life will keep moving. Thoughts will keep moving. Emotions will keep moving. The goal is not to stop motion. The goal is to create centered motion. The sharp edge of the Sudarshana Chakra is one of its most powerful symbols. Psychologically, this edge represents discrimination, the ability to separate truth from illusion, fact from emotion, and wisdom from impulse. Many people do not suffer because they lack intelligence. They suffer because they mix everything together. They mix one failure with their entire identity. They mix one criticism with complete rejection. They mix temporary discomfort with permanent danger. They mix desire with destiny. The sharp edge cuts this confusion. It says, this is a fact. This is fear. This is truth. This is ego. This is responsibility. This is guilt. This is love. This is attachment. Without this sharp edge, the mind becomes a fog. With this edge, perception becomes clean. The Sudarshana Chakra does not cut reality. It cuts illusion. The greatest battlefield is not outside us. It is inside the mind.
Every day, invisible dualities fight within us. I want comfort versus I should grow. I want safety versus I must take risk. I want approval versus I must speak truth. I want peace versus I refuse to let go. This is why a person can appear normal on the outside but feel exhausted inside. The mind becomes a battlefield when values, desires, fears, and habits move in opposite directions. And the problem is not that we have conflict. Conflict is natural. Growth often begins with conflict. The real problem begins when we cannot see the conflict clearly. We react, justify, suppress, blame, or escape. The Sudarshana approach is different. It does not run from the battlefield. It brings vision into the battlefield. Inner conflict happens when two parts of you want different things at the same time. One part wants discipline, another part wants distraction. One part wants honesty, another part wants comfort. One part wants healing, another part is attached to old pain. This creates psychological friction. The body may be sitting still, but inside there is resistance. You know what is right, but you do not do it. You know what is harmful, but you keep repeating it. This gap between knowing and doing becomes a source of anxiety. Modern people often call it stress, confusion, overthinking, or emotional burnout, but at a deeper level, it is misalignment. Your actions are not matching your values. Your desires are not matching your wisdom. Your identity is not matching your truth. Inner conflict is the pain of being divided against yourself. In psychology, there is a powerful concept called cognitive dissonance. It describes the discomfort we feel when we hold two opposing beliefs or when our actions contradict our values. For example, someone says health is important to me, but they keep damaging their health. Someone says truth matters, but they keep lying to avoid discomfort. Someone says I want success, but they avoid disciplined effort. The mind does not like contradiction. It wants alignment. So it tries to reduce the discomfort. But there are two ways to do this. One way is self-deception, making excuses, blaming others, or changing the story. The other way is transformation, accepting the truth and changing behavior. The Sudarshana Chakra represents the second path. It cuts excuses and brings the mind back into alignment with reality. One of the deepest inner conflicts is ego versus truth. The ego wants to protect identity. It wants to be right. It wants to look strong. It wants to avoid embarrassment. Truth does not care about image. Truth simply reveals what is. This is why truth can feel painful at first. Not because truth is cruel, but because illusion has become comfortable. The ego says, I was misunderstood. Truth says, maybe I need to listen. The ego says, I never make mistakes. Truth says, growth begins when I take responsibility. The Sudarshana Chakra as a symbol does not attack the person, it attacks false identification. It cuts the illusion that the ego is the self. The observing self can admit truth without collapsing. The ego cannot. This is why clear vision requires surrender. Another powerful conflict is fear versus action. Fear is not always wrong. Fear can protect us, it can warn us, it can make us careful. But when fear becomes the master, life becomes smaller. Many people wait for fear to disappear before they act, but often fear disappears only after action begins. Motion creates clarity. When you stand at the edge of decision, the mind imagines 1,000 dangers, but when you take one honest step, reality becomes clearer. The Sudarshana Chakra symbolizes decisive motion. It does not remain frozen, it moves with precision. This does not mean reckless action, it means aligned action. Ask yourself, is this fear protecting me or is it imprisoning me? The moment you can see the difference, fear begins to lose control. Desire is powerful. It pulls attention outward. It promises quick pleasure, quick relief, quick escape. Discipline is quieter. It does not always feel exciting, but it builds strength. This is the conflict of modern life. Instant gratification versus long-term alignment. You want deep focus, but the phone keeps calling. You want spiritual peace, but comparison keeps pulling you. You want mastery, but distraction feels easier. The Sudarshana Chakra gathers scattered energy. Its circular form reminds us that attention must return to the center again and again. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is protection of attention. When desire controls the mind, energy leaks everywhere. When discipline guides desire, energy becomes creative power. The question is not, should I destroy desire? The question is, can desire serve a higher direction? Attachment is one of the most subtle causes of suffering. We do not only attach to people, we attach to memories, identities, wounds, expectations, and versions of life that no longer exist. The visual reference to Shiva and Sati reminds us of the overwhelming power of attachment and grief. When love becomes fused with identity, loss can feel like the destruction of the self. Psychologically, attachment becomes painful when the past starts controlling the present. A person may say, "I want peace," but keep returning to the same memory. They may say, "I want freedom," but keep feeding the same emotional wound. Sudarshana does not ask us to become heartless. It asks us to see clearly. Love is not the same as obsession. Memory is not the same as prison. Letting go is not betrayal. Sometimes peace begins when we stop worshiping pain.
Illusion is dangerous because it rarely appears as illusion. It appears as justification. The story symbol of Rahu in disguise reminds us that deception often hides behind appearance. Inside the mind, Rahu is not only an external demon. Rahu is also the part of us that pretends, the part that hides selfishness behind spirituality, the part that hides fear behind logic, the part that hides ego behind morality. This is why self-awareness is difficult. We do not only lie to others, sometimes we lie to ourselves with great intelligence. Maya is not simply the world being false. Maya is the distortion of perception. The Sudarshana Chakra pierces this veil. It asks, what am I refusing to see? Where am I pretending? Where am I calling attachment love, fear wisdom, or ego self-respect? Clear vision begins with honest questions. Before clarity, the mind is like a tangled knot. Every thought is connected to another thought. Every fear connects to an old memory. Every desire connects to an identity. Every excuse connects to a hidden insecurity. This is why confusion feels heavy. It is not one problem. It is a knot of many problems. The Sudarshana Chakra cuts through the knot. But what does it cut? It cuts self-deception. It cuts emotional fog. It cuts false stories. It cuts the habit of avoiding truth. After this cut, reality may not immediately become easy, but it becomes visible. And visibility is the beginning of freedom. Many people do not need a new life first. They need a clean perception of the life they already have. The courage to see is the first victory of the inner warrior. Now we arrive at a practical method inspired by the Sudarshana Chakra. Stop, see, separate, align, and return. First, stop. Pause before reacting. Do not allow the first emotional wave to control your action. Second, see. Look honestly. What is really happening? What is fact and what is imagination? Third, separate. Separate emotion from evidence. Separate ego from truth. Separate fear from intuition. Fourth, align. Choose the action that matches your deeper values, not your temporary impulse. Fifth, return. Come back to the center. After every conflict, every decision, every emotional storm, return to awareness. This is the psychology of clear vision. The Sudarshana Chakra is not only a weapon in the hand of Vishnu, it is a reminder that the mind also needs a divine geometry, a center, a circle, alignment, motion, and the sharp edge of truth. When vision becomes clear, conflict loses its power. And when the center becomes stable, life may still rotate, but you no longer fall apart. That is the inner meaning of Sudarshana, the power to see clearly, act rightly, and return to peace. If this exploration of ancient wisdom, sacred geometry, and modern psychology opened a new way of seeing the mind, subscribe to the channel. In the next video, we will decode another sacred symbol, not as superstition, but as a map of consciousness, healing, and inner transformation.